Welcome back once again in my channel. Today it is going to be my third video on the chapter ITF. Now today in this video we are going to learn some important formulae on this chapter. Now dear students, it is better to inform you that in first this chapter is totally based upon some formulae, and here we have to remember several formulae one by one, and at the same time we need to know how to apply them. Correct? Here in this chapter there are not so understandings, not so logics like the first chapter. Here it is sufficient only to know the formulae and how to apply them. Now let us know all the formulae one by one. We shall have several categories formulae to be discussed. Now let us discuss every category one by one. First, let us come to category 1. In category 1, the first formula is that sin inverse x plus cos inverse x equal to pi by 2. Correct? Here the second formula is that tan inverse x plus cot inverse x equal to similarly pi by 2. And finally, the third formula is that in this category sec inverse x plus cosec inverse x equal to similarly pi by 2. Correct? In this way, total here we have three formula in the first category, and these are once more sin inverse x plus cos inverse x equal to pi by 2. The second one is that tan inverse x plus cot inverse x equal to pi by 2. And finally, the third one is that sec inverse x plus cosec inverse x equal to pi by 2. Now the question comes, how to remember this formulae? Now look at here. Here, देखो, sin and cos both are complement. Tan and cot both are complement. And sec and cosec both are complement. That we learnt in class 10. Correct? Here, sin and cos both are complement. So their sum will be pi by 2. Similarly here, tan and cot both are complement, and their sum will be pi by 2. And finally here, sec and cosec both are complement, their sum is pi by 2. So if you want, you can remember in this way. Here all this formula can be proved, but these proofs are not important. But if you want the proof, you can make the comment on my video. I shall let you show later on, no issue. But all the formula can be proved. But I am suggesting you only to remember the formula by any means. Understood? Now let us come to second category. Come to category 2. Now let us see what the formulae are in this category. We know from class 10, sin of minus x will be minus sin x. Correct? That means in the case of sin, minus will come out to the outside. That we learned in class 10. Similarly, here we shall have sin inverse minus x minus of sin inverse x. Like that. Just remember from class 10, what happened there? Sin of minus x equal to minus sin x. That means minus will come out to the outside. Similarly, in the case of inverse, also the minus will come out to the outside. So it will be minus sin inverse x. Correct? Now, let us come to the next one. Already we know cos of minus x equal to only cos x. There is no effect of negativity on the cos. That means cos of minus x will be only plus cos x. Similarly, here it will be cos inverse of minus x. It will be not only cos inverse x. Here pi minus will be there. That means here you have to remember cos inverse of minus x will be pi minus cos inverse x. But although we had cos of minus x equal to cos x, so don't be confused between them. These are about trigonometric ratios and these are about ITFs. So don't be confused. Again I am saying here all are about trigonometric ratios formulae. Here all are about ITF formulae. So don't mix them. Now similarly we had in the class 10 tan of minus x equal to minus tan x. That means also in the case of tan, minus will come out to the outside. Similarly here we shall have tan inverse of minus x will be minus tan inverse x. Similarly this minus will come out to the outside in the case of tan inverse. In the class 10 we had similarly cot of minus x equal to minus cot x. Like tan, in the case of cot also minus will come out to the outside. Now let us see here what will happen in the case of inverse. Similarly cot inverse of minus x will be not only cot inverse x, here like cos minus will be there, pi minus cot inverse x. So you have to remember here these cases. The remaining cases can be remembered very easily, but only you have to remember the pi cases. Okay. Now let us come to the next one here. Similarly we had in class 10 sec of minus x equal to only sec x, because sec is the reciprocal of cos. Minus is not affecting on cos, so here minus will not be affecting on sec. That's why we had sec of minus x equal to only sec x plus sec x. Similarly let us see what will happen. Sec inverse of minus x will be but pi minus sec inverse x like cos. Okay, so don't be confused between these two. Okay, and finally we had cosec of minus x equal to we had minus cosec x, because cosec is the reciprocal of sine. Here minus was affecting, also here minus will be affecting, so that's why minus will come out to the outside. Now let us see what is happening here. Similarly cosec inverse of minus x will be minus will come out to the outside like sine minus cosec inverse x. Understood? So here you have to remember all the formula in the case of ITF. Again I am saying here all the formula is about trigonometric ratio, but here all the formula is about ITFs. So don't mix them, they are not same, but you can guess from here. Again I am saying from the first, sine inverse of minus x will be minus sine inverse x. That means in the case of sine inverse, minus will come out to the outside. Similarly cos inverse of minus x will be pi minus cos inverse x. So you have to remember these cases. Similarly tan inverse of minus x will be minus tan inverse x. That means in the case of tan inverse, minus will come out to the outside. But in the case of cot inverse x minus x, it will be pi minus cot inverse x like cos. You have to remember this case, correct? Similarly sec inverse x of minus x will be pi minus sec inverse x like cos cot sec. So you have to here remember these three cases especially. And finally we shall have cosec inverse minus x will be minus cosec inverse x. Similarly minus will come out to the outside. Understood or not? Here in this category only you have to remember in the case of sine inverse, tan inverse and cosec inverse, the minus will come out to the outside. But in the case of cos, cos inverse, cot inverse and sec inverse, only pi will be there. Okay, in this way you have to remember all the formulae, and all the formulae can be remembered easily if you daily practice, and please attach a formulae list in your study room. Understood? That is the technique to remember all the formulae one by one. Let's come to category 3. In class 10 we learned sin x was equal to 1 by cosec x, or cosec x equal to 1 by sin x, because sin and cosec both are the reciprocal. Okay, so it is happening in the case of trigonometric ratio. Now similarly, let's see what will happen in the case of their corresponding inverse. Similarly, sin inverse of x can be written as cosec inverse of 1 by x. Here this value will be only reciprocal. But in the case of trigonometric ratio, what happened? Sin and cosec both were the reciprocal. But so don't be confused in the case of inverse. Here only this value will be reciprocal. Understood? Similarly here, cosec inverse x can be written as sin inverse of 1 by x. Okay. Don't write sin inverse x equal to 1 by cosec inverse x. It will not be. Similarly, cosec inverse x not equal to 1 by sin inverse x. It will not happen like that. It is the correct one. So you have to remember these two formulae. Okay. Similarly, class 10. In class 10 we had tan x equal to 1 by cot x, or cot x equal to 1 by tan x, because tan and cot both were the reciprocal. Similarly, let's see what will happen in the case of their corresponding inverse. Here tan inverse x can be written as cot inverse 1 by x. Now similarly, like here, this value will be reciprocal. Correct? Similarly, cot inverse x can be written as tan inverse 1 by x. Simply remember, in the case of ITF, only this value will be reciprocal, not whole. Here we cannot say tan inverse x equal to 1 by cot inverse x. Please never say. Or we cannot write cot inverse x equal to 1 by tan inverse x. It will never be. Understood? These are the misconception. It will be misconception, right? Already we discussed in the previous video. These are the misconception. Okay. Similarly, in class 10 we had cos x equal to 1 by sec x, or sec x will be equal to 1 by cos x, because cos and sec both are the reciprocal. Now let's see what will happen in their corresponding inverse. Correct? But here cos inverse of x can be written as sec inverse 1 by x, like before. Here what happened? Only the value will be reciprocal. Similarly here, in the case of cos inverse, value will be reciprocal. Or cos inverse or sec inverse x can be written as cos inverse of 1 by x. Correct? But here we cannot write cos inverse x equal to 1 by sec inverse x. It will never be. Similarly, we cannot write sec inverse x equal to 1 by cos inverse x. It will never be. So also it is a misconception. Okay. So please remember all the formula here, and at the same time you have to remember the misconception. Okay. So again I am saying from the first, the sin inverse x can be written as cosec inverse 1 by x. Only the value will be reciprocal. Similarly, cosec inverse x can be written as sin inverse 1 by x. It is the formula number 1. It is the formula number 2. Similarly, in the case of tan inverse x can be written as cot inverse 1 by x. Here only value will be reciprocal, not whole like that. Similarly, cot inverse x will be equal to tan inverse 1 by x. Please don't write cot inverse x not equal to this one. Don't write it. It is a misconception. And finally, cos inverse x can be written as sec inverse 1 by x. Also, sec inverse x will be equal to cos inverse 1 by x. Please don't write them. Okay. It is the misconception. Understood or not? Come to category 4 and let us see what formula are there. Here, the first formula is that sin inverse of sin x, it will be equal to x. Now the question comes, how to remember the formula? Very easily. Now, look at the outsider. What is that? Sin inverse. And what is the insider? Sin x. Correct? Therefore, here sin inverse and sin x, sin both are matching. When they will match, then the angle will come out to the outside without any changing. Again I am saying, here the outsider is sin inverse and the insider is sin x. Now look here, sin inverse and sin both are matching. Then the angle will come out to the outside. Then it will be x. Correct? In a similar manner, cos inverse of cos x will be x. Because here cos inverse and cos both are matching. Then the angle will come out to the outside. So here it will be x. Similarly, tan inverse of tan x. What it will be? Dekho, here tan inverse and tan both are matching. Then x will come out to the outside. So also here it will be x. Correct? So I am trying to say, when the outsider and the insider will match, then the angle will come out to the outside. Understood? When they will not match, then the angle will not come out. For example, tan inverse cos x. Correct? Here tan inverse and cos are not matching. So here you cannot write, it will be x. It will not be x. Correct? Similarly, cos inverse of tan x. Now here cos and tan both are not matching. So here you cannot write x. It will not be x. So to come out angle outside, so they have to be matched first. They have to be matched first. Understood? So in this way, here we shall have three formula to be remembered. And these are sin inverse of sin x will be equal to x because both are matching. Similarly, we shall have cos inverse of cos x also will be equal to x, and tan inverse of tan x will be also x. So here in this category, only these three formula are sufficient to remember. Understood? Now let us come to category 5. In class 11, we learned the formula of tan of a plus b. Correct? Now try to remember what it was. It was tan a plus tan b by 1 minus tan b. 1 minus tan a tan b. Right? So the formula of tan a plus b was tan a plus tan b by 1 minus tan a tan b. Similarly here we shall have one more formula like that, and it will be as tan inverse a plus tan inverse b, and it will be tan inverse a plus b by 1 minus ab. Correct? So here we shall have this formula in terms of inverse. It is tan inverse a plus tan inverse b will be equal to tan inverse a plus b by 1 minus ab. Just tally. So they are looking almost same. Actually this formula can be proved. This formula can be proved from here. Okay, but here proof is not important. Only it is sufficient to remember the formula. Similarly, in class 11 we have tan of a minus b formula, and it was tan a minus tan b by 1 plus tan a tan b. Just try to remember. In the case of tan of a plus b, the upper will be plus, lower will be minus. In the case of minus, upper will be minus, lower will be plus. देखो, here what happened? Plus is happening. Also here plus is happening. So here like that, upper will be plus, lower will be minus. Understood? Okay. Now let us come to the second formula to invent. The second formula will be tan inverse A minus tan inverse B. It will be like that. Tan inverse A minus B by 1 plus AB. Understood? So if you want, you can remember this formula from here also. So in this way, here we shall have two formulae in terms of tan inverse. The first one is that tan inverse A plus tan inverse B will be equal to tan inverse A plus B by 1 minus AB, like that. Okay. And similarly, the formula of tan inverse A minus tan inverse B will be tan inverse A minus B by 1 plus AB, like that. So ultimately you have to remember these two formulae here. Understood? And these are very, very important to remember. So please take down as VBI. These formula are very, very important to remember. Understood? Let us come to the final category, that is 6. In class 11, we learnt the formula of sin 2a, cos 2a and tan 2a only in terms of tan. Correct? Again I am saying, in class 11 we learnt the formula of sin 2a, cos 2a and tan 2a in terms of tan. These are the formula of multiple angle formula. Right? Now let us recall what was the formula of sin 2a in terms of only tan. If you remember, it was 2 tan a by 1 plus tan square a. That means the formula of sin 2a was in terms of tan, that is 2 tan a by 1 plus tan square a. Similarly, the formula of cos 2a in terms of tan was 1 minus tan square a by 1 plus tan square a. So that is the formula of cos 2a in terms of only tan. Similarly, we had the formula of tan 2a in terms of only tan, and it was 2 tan a by 1 minus tan square a. Correct? In this way, we had three formulae, sin 2a, cos 2a and tan 2a only in terms of tan. Correct? Similarly, here we shall have the formula of 2 tan inverse x in terms of sin inverse, cos inverse and tan inverse, and let us see what are they. Similarly, we shall have here the formula of 2 tan inverse x in terms of sin inverse, cos inverse and tan inverse. Now the formula of 2 tan inverse x is in terms of sin inverse, that is sin inverse 2x by 1 minus 1 plus x square. So that is the formula of 2 tan inverse x in terms of only sin inverse, that is sin inverse 2x by 1 plus x square. Okay, that is the formula of 2 tan inverse x only in terms of sin inverse. Similarly, the formula of 2 tan inverse x in terms of cos inverse is cos inverse 1 minus x square by 1 plus x square. So that is the formula of 2 tan inverse x only in terms of cos inverse, that is cos inverse 1 minus x square by 1 plus x square. And lastly, the formula of 2 tan inverse x in terms of tan inverse is tan inverse 2x by 1 minus x square. Okay. In this way, total we have 3 formulae of 2 tan inverse x in terms of sin inverse, cos inverse and tan inverse. And we have to use them according to the nature of the problem, according to the situation. Understood? Also, this formulae can be proved if you want. The first one can be proved from the sin 2a formula. The second one can be proved from the cos 2a formula here. And the third one can be proved from the tan 2a formula. Correct? But here no need any proof. By any means you need to remember the formulae. And you have to know how to apply it. Okay? In this way, we have learned 6 categories formulae in this video, and you have to remember this formulae by any means, or you can say by heart. Correct? If you ask me how to remember all this formula, I would like to say, first make a list of the entire formula. First make a list of entire formula and paste it in your study room. Then you will follow it daily, you will observe it daily. Then automatically it will be remembered. At the same time, you need lot of practice from this chapter, because this chapter is totally based upon formulae. If you don't practice, the formula will be forgotten. That's why you need lot of practice from this chapter. Okay, so all the best for this chapter. Thank you very much.